bringing educators together to talk about racial equity and how do we as educators take that lead and push this forward in our classrooms, in our schools, and in our communities.
I am very proud of what we're doing because it's all educator-led and educator-created. All the educators in the room are here because they're passionate about making sure that we are, we focus on social justice and equity work in our school district, and they're already working on those things. So being with other educators that are focused on that really just invigorates the whole room and affirms the work that people are doing.
I'm here today because I think that racial equality is super important. Being a woman of color, I feel like we have to use our voices and we have to be the change that we wish to see.
This year I have stepped forward to support the students, not only to teach them, but also to educate and to support them to feel comfortable, to grow as a people and don't feel in a place where they don't fit, and also to fight for their right to talk and to be heard.
Seattle Education Association is leading this work because we are on the ground floor. We work with these kids, we see what works, what doesn't work.
How does one become a racial equity leader? I choose my language carefully. I purposely put racial equity before the word here, because when you enter this work, it's so important to be clear about the what that you're leading.
I think it's good for educators to teach educators because you're always looking for new strategies, you're always looking for new ways to deal with students, new ways to run your classroom, new ways to deal with yourself outside of the school. So learning from people that 15 years, 20 years in the game is a great opportunity.
It's kind of like peers, you know. Students in high school, they listen to their peers as well as educators, they listen to their fellow peers.
I think it's more grassroots, like we can teach each other and we can learn from each other, so it makes us more accountable, it's more relevant, and we can trust our colleague to have our back and to call us not out, but call us in when we need adjustment.
As an educator, it's easier for me to think about the things that I can control, like maybe I can get her reading supports, or maybe I can get her this, or maybe she needs to be connected with resources for her family, or like all of these other things, because I can't change her racial experience or my racial. Like, does that make sense? Like, it's really uncomfortable to sit in that place, and it's really natural as educators to say, like, well, maybe it's not race, maybe it's this other thing that I can do something about. So I just noticed in myself, like, how it's uncomfortable.
It allows us a chance to be able to talk to one another. And like the class I just came from was very freeing, I guess. A lot of people got a lot of things off their chests. It was the bargaining class, so that's why I think it's important.
The panel of students coming here and sharing their experience in the public school really helps.
That one angry girl who's always like, stop being racist, because at some point people just tune you out.
A lot of the times the teachers weren't taking us seriously, and how much it hurt us and how much it hurt our learning. And I feel like things were okay for about 2 weeks, and then they went back right back to the way they were. And I felt like I had to leave the school, and I started running START. But I also felt like that was really unfair to the students of color that were like left behind, and like the younger students of color that didn't have a choice. And so I feel like for me to join the NAACP Youth Coalition was to take a step further and to like address the school board and to try to get to the root of the problem, because this is like a nationwide issue. It's like beyond just my small school.
I think the biggest aha moment was the youth panel so far. I was really intrigued by the savviness and the expertise of these young people, and the more that I experience that kind of thing in our young people, it makes me feel very hopeful for the future.
I think right now, when a lot of people think of black, they think of dark, dirty, ghetto. When they think of native, they think of genocide, old, not here, what's happening. Or when they think of Asian, they think good at math, like super hardworking. And when you think of white, they think of just my mom, my dad. It's humans. And so I think if we can add that human element into race, you can see that the issues that we're fighting for aren't just for these like random people. They're for our families. They're for the people that we love and care about. And that's why we're here, like because we have a lot of love for the people who are affected by this.
It was the 5 students who came today and how knowledgeable they were and how willing they were to give us the information to help students like themselves.
I was like look out into the crowd while I was talking and while my friends were talking, And I felt so heard, and I felt so listened to, and it was such an amazing feeling to see all these educators that were here because they genuinely like wanted to do better, and they realized that like people need to do better, and they're here like bettering themselves, and like we're learning from them just as much as they were learning from us. And so it was an amazing feeling.
I think teachers have so much power, and they're some of my favorite people ever, and they spend so much time with you, and they shape really who we become.
Learn a lot of things that were appalling, but also good at the same time. So like I said, it really opened my eyes a lot.
This is work that is happening every day. It's not something that you go to a training once and you check it off and you're done. Like, to hear from other teachers who are really immersed in the work and keeping it a priority every day just makes me think about the ways that I can really implement it. And it feels like something that I can immediately go back and do because there are so many teachers here that are doing it.
One of the things that I also noticed is that there was some hope and wondering about what the Center for Race and Equity could do. I think this year people are really excited about seeing what we've done, but also knowing now that there's a lot more to come and they want to be part of it.
I think sometimes in our position, determining the different factors between our workloads, we can often lose sight to like the main goal. So I just was reminded today that, you know, kids are our future leaders, and we really need to invest our time and our energy into them.